We're going to install Pi-hole. It's a network-wide ad blocker. We're going to install it on Ubuntu 20. And usually I run this on Raspberry Pi devices, and I have one installed already. And this is going to kind of be a backup. And this is on Raspbian. And you can see it doesn't take much resources. I have my Unify controller and my Pi-hole device in one, and I'm setting up some backups. But to demonstrate it, we're going to install it on a VirtualBox VM. So the first thing we need to do is set up a static IP address for the server. Currently it's set for DHCP. And we're going to set this one to sit next to my existing Pi-hole, which is .2. One is my gateway. And we're going to give it public DNS servers. Oops. Invalid indent on my name servers. Okay, we're in now. So Pi-hole is great. It's got a really good installer. You can run it in Docker as well, but the Pi-hole installer is pretty straightforward. It's just a bash script here. So it's going to run through and check dependencies for you, check root access, get things set up. The installer will transform your device into a network-wide ad blocker. Okay. Donate if you're able to. It's a great project. Yep, we set a static IP address. Now we're going to set the upstream provider, DNS provider, and we're going to use Quad 9 unfiltered. You can use whichever ones you want here. And the default Stephen Black's blacklist by default, so we're going to keep that and we're going to configure that a little bit later. Yes, we want the admin web interface. Yes, that's the default, is the light HTTPD and required PHP modules. Yes, we want to log queries. This gives you the option to hide domains and clients and make it anonymous mode and logging, so you don't see what's blocked or which clients are getting what domains blocked. For my home network, I like to show everything just for troubleshooting. At work, I block it because it's anonymous for clients, so that we're blocking stuff, but it's not necessarily needed to know. Now it's going through, and this installer is really nice. My connection's a bit slow, so downloading the new interface might take a second. Okay, so now it's saying we want to configure the devices on our network to use this IP address as the DNS server. And then here's where we'll find the admin interface. So that's all good. Everything looked fine. So we'll come here. There it is, Pi-hole's up and running. So we'll go to the admin interface. One thing we want to do is set the password for the web interface, and this is how we could do that. And I would suggest not keeping a blank password. Oops. There it is, it's set. Now we can log in. Okay, so everything is set up here. This is the basic dashboard that you'll see. A query log will show you what queries it's responding to. You have your whitelist here. If you needed to whitelist a domain, you can do it by individual domain, or you can use a regular expression filter. Same thing with the blacklists. Here's add list. This is where we got Stephen Black's list in here. And I have a list that I add to mine, which is going to be, actually I'll grab it here. This is my Pi-hole that's running. You can see it shows the queries, it shows what's been blocked. And I have a couple that I add. So this one here is mine that I just host on GitHub, and it just has some specifics in there that aren't included on other lists that I use. So we'll go ahead and add this one. And that's what's great too is you can create your own block list. So if there's things that you want to block or for your home network, you don't want maybe social media, there's all kinds of lists out there that people have compiled. So if you wanted to block all social media, there's a list for that. And you can come in here and you can add the list, and as it gets updated, you'll start blocking them. So the other one I use is the old hostfile.net, and this has a lot in there of advertisers, ad networks, bot networks, stuff like that. And so I'm going to add that as well. And those are the main ones that I use, and I just update my ad block list on my GitHub there for any ones that I need to experiment with. So once those are added, we're going to update the gravities here. So we'll do, that'll go through and make sure that you're grabbing them, and then it'll restart the resolver. Okay, so now to test it out, we can, and let's look up google.com, and there it's resolving. And it's resolving. So if we want to check one of these hosts, so here's one of the hosts that I block. And so if we want to check how that's working, you see it turns an empty 0.0.0.0 address, so it can't be resolved. So anything that gets blocked just gets zeros and doesn't resolve properly. So it's just DNS blocking. So now that the Pi-hole server is all up and running and configured, and we know that it's working, now we can configure our clients to use it. So first thing we want to do is go to your client, open up the network adapter settings. Okay, and this is my Windows 11 virtual machine. Right now it's configured to use Quad 9 DNS servers. So let's take a look, and that way we can see the difference from before and after. So here's CNN. You can see there'll be ads up here. Let's see, what's another big? It's another big ad site. Here's another big ad site. Ads, 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 all over the place. So what we'll do is we will update this DNS server to be the new Pi-hole address. And we did .3, and .2 is my backup, but we'll just put .3 in here. There you go. You actually have a readable website now. Let's check this one. No more ads. Blocked by default. And this works in conjunction with ad blockers. Like I use Opera or Brave browser that has the ad blocking, and it does a really good job. Doesn't get all of them. Um, Using Pi-hole, you don't have to have any of those. It will automatically block them for you, no matter what browser you're using. It'll also protect against malware sites, whether it's through a browser or wget or downloading content from a PowerShell or something like that. It will still block it because it does DNS blocking, not just a browser add-in. So I like that as well. Um, a lot of things that I do, like blocking the Roku, is really um, bad at this. It just wants to communicate and send data back and forth all day, and who knows what it's sending over to Roku. So um, my daughters have Roku devices, so I block all of that, and so they're not sending anything anymore. So it's really nice. That's how you configure it. That's how you use it. Once it's up and running, you can always go back to your Pi-hole interface, and you can see um, we've this is our query log so far, just from that little bit of testing we did, and you can see that that Windows 11 box is blocking all of these sites here. So interesting. Okay, thanks again.